Hey guys, so on this episode of Make It with Calvin, I'm going to be talking about my recent printing experiences with Taulman Bridge and why I think it's actually a pretty good beginner's nylon if you have a machine capable of printing hot enough safely. So stick around and find out. Okay, before we go any further, one thing I want to make very clear. This requires you to print between 250 to 265 degrees Celsius. So if you don't have an all metal hot end setup, don't try and print it. Wait until you do. If you do have that setup though, honestly, this stuff is not bad to print with. Most nylons have two inherent problems, one of them being insane moisture absorption, and the other one being a high shrinkage factor, which causes warp and all kinds of other problems. Now, this is not anywhere near perfect when it comes to moisture sensitivity. It is a nylon, but according to Taulman, there's a special treatment process that they do on the outside of the filament to help reduce the amount of moisture intake. And according to them, you can print this without dehydrating it. I have done that. And these are just some spares from the IKEA Trofast Tray project that I featured the other week. And this one right here that's really shiny was done with it dehydrated. And the one here on my left was done without dehydrating it. Yeah, there's definitely a visual quality loss. And this guy on the left definitely had a lot more artifacts from where retractions took place. But that being said, though, it printed an otherwise perfectly usable part. Yeah, you're going to take some quality loss depending upon what you're printing, but the fact that you can print this without dehydrating it is honestly incredible. If you try this with anything else, I'm speaking from personal experience here, it ain't going to work. So that was really awesome. That being said, though, if you could dehydrate it, I'd personally dehydrate it, but that's just me. The other thing that was impressive was the fact that this print had only one and two very tiny contact areas relative to the size of the print. And what can be a problem is the ends wanting to lift up, and then pretty much your whole print goes, and it's a very bad day at the office. When I initially printed this on the Build Tack nylon with just a little bit of purple glue stick, I was having troubles with it getting to stick, so I tried printing it with a brim. But then when I really looked at the brim, I realized that, my first layer height is way too high for what I'm doing. So I made sure that got squished down into the build plate better, and zero problems after that. No brims, no problems. I was genuinely impressed. That being said, though, depending upon what you're running, you may need to run a brim. But as long as it's not trying to tear itself and the build plate off and things like that, I think you might be, doing pretty good in life. One thing I will say is nylon absolutely loves to stick to itself, which is both a pro and a con. It's a pro in terms of you get insanely good layer bonding. The con is it's really hard to remove support material from the inside, so you might need a larger air gap between your support material and your part. And or if you're one of those fancy people that has a multi-head machine, you might be able to print some interface material there, but I'm just mentioning that so you aren't absolutely mortified when things seem like they have merged and fused together. So overall, what are my thoughts on this as a printing material? Well, I definitely can see a lot of projects that I might require nylon, and I don't need the stiffness of a glass fiber nylon. I definitely think this stuff is going to get used some more in the future. Have I decided what it is going to be yet? No. But I definitely know there's going to be stuff where I'm going to want to use this, and the fact that I can make perfectly functional parts without dehydration really helps, especially if I have to make things on short notice. Not having to spend 12 to 24 hours dehydrating something before you attempt a 6, 8, 10, 12 plus hour long print really helps speed up the process. And yeah, I'm dead serious when I'm saying I'm genuinely amazed that this actually worked as well as I thought it would. So if you guys are interested in this, I will have not only the Amazon affiliates link to this down below, but I also have a link to Taulman 3D's page where they talk about all the different print settings for all their materials so you can find what best suits your needs. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you here next time on Make It with Calvin.